the Rufus and Doofus. It's Chico and Rufus here today, and if you guys have watched the last video that I put up, even though it was kind of not too great, Rufus, don't play with the camera, because of all the things that were going on that day. You know that my install of the fuel pressure gauge did what it was supposed to do, and in fact it confirmed that I do have a damaged fuel pump that was damaged in Lafayette that time that I went. And I just didn't want to, I don't know, I guess you call it cheap, but I didn't want to replace that fuel sending unit if I didn't have to. And I was told that, you know, if it got through the filter socks on the bottom, it probably wouldn't damage the impellers on the pump or whatever it damaged, but it did. So coming up to Lake Havasu, about 10 miles out of Quartzsite, the rig started acting up, losing power, and I was watching the fuel pressure gauge just drop and go crazy. Sometimes it would come up, and then it would drop again. So my ride to Lake Havasu City was, I don't even want to say it was terrible. It was beyond that. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say this, but it was bringing tears to my eyes because of the stress. Climbing those hills, not having an engine that would work correctly, turning the ignition off, trying to let the pump recoup a little bit, and then turning it on, which did help. But as soon as the rig needed gas, the pressure would just go away. So that was really, really a stressful situation. There's hills that you have to overcome, and that's where your rig needs the power. So where I needed it the most was where I was getting it the least. So needless to say, I was a basket case when I got here, and I don't know if I have some video of that or not. I was kind of losing my mind at that point, so I don't know what I was doing, and I haven't reviewed all the footage. I was forgetting to turn the camera on, forgetting to turn the camera off. Not normally the way I react to a stressful situation, but I think it was just way more than I needed that day. With everything, you know, it all adds up. And but I did keep that little thought in my mind, be happy. And I'll tell you why I was happy. Because it didn't die completely on that hill with no pull-off area where the guardrail was only like 2 feet from the pavement. So yeah, my little heart was saying, be happy, buddy, be happy, because you're not stopped on that road holding up traffic, and God knows what's going to happen trying to get a tow truck, and oh my God. So I made it here, to say the least, and you know that from the video. So what have I got today? Well, when I got here Sunday, I immediately ordered another sending unit from Rock Auto, and hopefully we'll meet the warranty criteria, which I do believe I did. And here it is. I'll just show it to you once again for you guys that don't know what a sending unit looks like. By the way, the most stressful part after I got here, you know, after that part of the stress was over, was where and what am I going to do? So I knew I had to get a fuel pump or a sending unit, so that's the first thing I did. I ordered it. Believe it or not, I ordered it Monday morning. Today's Tuesday afternoon, and it arrived today at 1:35 or 1:45. And I'm very happy that they had one in stock and such. And I'm very happy that Ford warranties their sending units for 2 years. So this is what the little devil looks like right here. Okay, and this is for the fuel level. Okay, this is the pump housing itself. These are the 3 tubes. All right, one's a return, one's a feed, and one's a generator. And these are the 3 outlets on top. Harness, obviously, to plug into the existing harness. Now, a lot of you guys are going to ask me, is this the new style? Yes, my RV chassis, 1997, when it was built with the new style turbine pump. And it also has the newer harness, but fortunately my rig already has a harness that was from the factory, because this is the original pump that was in it, not this particular one. I know you guys, some of you were picky, not this one, but you know, the original one that was in there first. So I did a lot of research in the last day or so, and I talked to some friends. And by the way, the guy that's going to come and help me do this is a mobile mechanic here in Lake Havasu. And I kind of Googled for, you know, mobile mechanics and such, had no luck. I also, when I need help mechanically, I usually go to an Elks Club or something if I need tools or whatever, because they usually have members that know everybody. But Elks Club was kind of far, but what I did do is I went to a coffee shop. That's my other choice, coffee shop, and ask if there's any locals that know where I can get whatever I need. Usually works out. I did get a couple of good leads, but that didn't work yesterday. And my next stop was going to be, and this is just a suggestion to you guys, but if you can find a bar, and I'm not talking about a chain or a fancy restaurant, but a local bar, usually if it has motorcycles parked out front, I know because I owned a bar and I also had a restaurant and I also owned a Harley. If it has bikes and you go in there, and if, you know, I kind of fit right in because I was a biker for years, but normally you can get a lot of good advice from those guys. So that's what I normally do. On that particular day, I also called my friend, Paul, who's a follower, on a subscriber, and he says, "How you doing?" And I told him the story, and wow. Well, you know what? A half an hour later, he binged. I was Googling, he binged a mobile mechanic here in Lake Havasu, and I spoke to him. He sounded like a very knowledgeable fellow, and he said, as soon as you get your fuel pump, call me up and I'll be over there on Wednesday to put it in. And that to me was like, wow, that's the other half of the problem that I need to get solved. That's the hardest half to get solved. The first part, ordering the pump, was no problem. The hardest part is getting that mechanic to come. And we talked for a few minutes, so as soon as I get done doing this video, I'm going to get on the horn, call them, tell them the fuel sending unit is in, and we're ready to go. Now, one thing I want to mention is, and a lot of you guys I know have said exhaust, you've said this, trash in the tank, blocked fuel lines, the whole 9 yards. And I've been through all that, okay? Ignition modules, I changed the distributor. That was for just because I wanted to. It had a little slop in it. But I've been through every ignition component and anything that really affects the fuel pump. So this is it. There is no other problem. I mean, my fuel pressure gauge that I installed on my dashboard made it perfectly clear. You're not having a problem with your exhaust, and you're not having a problem with your electronics. You're having a problem with your fuel pump. So apparently all that dirt that went through it really messed it up. However, my friend Jeff in Florida said, hey, you know, you got the fuel pump out. Why don't you do something just in case? And I said, what's that? And he said, why don't you take a nice long length of wire and splice it into the ground wire right here as close as I can to the pump, which would be right here, and also the power to the pump, and just, you know, wrap it up and set it somewhere where if you need it, you can use it. And I said, oh, good idea. So technically, if there's ever a problem, or actually, even if there's not a problem, what I'm going to do, I already ordered the little gauge to put in there, is I'm going to monitor the voltage to my fuel pump constantly. The part that I needed was $7 that mounts in the dash. It's just a, you know, simple little 12-volt monitor, so it'll say, you know, 12 volts, 12.5, whatever. But that way, I'm going to know if there is any possibility that the wire going from the front to the back through the connectors, you know, there's always a little connector somewhere, or maybe it got pinched or whatever, but if that is heating up because of resistance for some reason, I will see it on the voltmeter, because don't forget, I'm going to be tapping into here and I'll be seeing my voltage after it's traveled from the front. The other advantage of that is, if I do find out there's a pinch or something in that line, or voltage drops, then I can take that same wire, because don't forget, it's going to be tapped into here, and I can reconnect it after the relay, the fuel pump relay, so that the power will travel down that new wire. And what I'll do is I'll just put another little splice in there to monitor it again. So, you know, an extra little cutoff going to the little gauge. And I thought that was a really, really, really good idea. We both agreed before we got done talking that the problem, 99 and 100% is the fuel pump. There's no doubt. It just cannot put out the pressure required for this engine. And the pressure should never drop below 30, and it should achieve 40 plus pounds per square inch at wide open throttle. So that's it, folks. I'm a little bit kind of crazy because of what's going on. I really can't participate in too many activities because I want to get done what I have to get done here. My next step after I get off with you guys is to tap into this line here. I've already made a pigtail, and before I drop it in the tank, or before the mechanic puts it in the tank, I'll have a picture of it showing what I've got. All right, so that's all I wanted to say for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. And please don't forget to be happy no matter what. No matter what. Okay? Life's too short. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I love you all.